Right, I believe we are now live. Alex, hello, how are you?
I'm good, James. How are you?
I'm really good. Yeah, just moved into a new house and
Awesome.
didn't realize how stressful it would be moving house with so much stuff. I've only ever really moved house before, um, moved countries as a foursome, but we sold everything in the UK, and then when we moved here, we bought everything new. It's the first time I've moved as a big family of four, and yeah, it's I can see why people don't want to move that often.
Brings a little more empathy for those clients that might be sitting on the fence or stressed out about moving, maybe, right? So
Yeah, I
I,
mean, one of the things I can mention is a lot of people are like worried about moving during COVID. We hired a U-Haul truck, got some friends around to help or whatever, and it was that part of it wasn't really that much of a bigger deal. I think the only difference was for us is just having to wear a mask when we picked up the truck and things. But yeah, it wasn't for us personally. It was that wasn't the issue. It's just. I mean, we've just got boxes still everywhere. I remember going around to people's houses when they closed, like 3 months later, just to catch up, and they've still got stuff everywhere. And I was like, how do people live like this? Why don't they just do it straight away? Now I know.
now you know. I can
I
relate.
mean,
I moved to America in 2001. I think I did the math the other day. I think I've moved 16 or 17 times in that time since 2001. So we're talking about 16 times, I think, in 20 years. And
yeah,
I've got boxes in the garage still that I've moved 3 times and never opened them. So I can highly relate to that too.
yeah. But and also last week I closed a lot of deals at exactly the same time as moving. So it was, yeah, it's good and a bad thing. It's nice to close some deals, but the bad, obviously it takes time and effort to do that as well. As you know, getting it over the finishing line always takes a bit of time. Obviously, I've seen the real estate market is still incredible right now. It's a very odd market from my point of view. There's no inventory, and because of low interest rates that we're going to talk about in a minute, it's really tough for buyers right now. If you've got a listing, then anything under 1 million should really, sell really quickly. Over 1 million obviously takes a little bit more time and effort. But we're working with so many buyers right now, and we're just going out and seeing homes. And it's going on the market on a Thursday. They can't see it to a Saturday, and then by the time we go and see it, it's in escrow. 10
Yeah.
offers, way over asking. It's really tough for buyers right now, and that is obviously all linked to the interest rate. So we'll get onto that straight away. Where are interest rates as we stand today?
So rates are still insanely low, but I will say they've gone up a little bit since our last talk, I think a month ago. So for example, on VA, last time we spoke, it was about 2.25. If the loan amount's under 510, today it's about 2.5%. That's still ridiculously low. You're splitting hairs at that point. And then if you're doing a VA loan and it's above 510,000, it's at about 2.75, which that really hasn't changed since the last time we spoke. But again, ridiculously low rate. Same is exactly true for FHA. And then conventional, even just with 5% down, we're looking at about 2.875. If it's a condo, maybe 3 1/8. But
So it's gone up from about 275 on a
right,
conventional loan to 285, which
yeah,
over most people's payments, they're hardly going to notice that at all.
right.
But it has gone up a tiny bit, which is interesting because obviously we we've had it drop, and it'll be interesting to see if 275 was the lowest it will ever go, and whether how long it possibly might stay here for, because especially with an election coming up, we have no idea what's going to happen with interest rates and the real estate market.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying depending on who wins, it could go one way or the other. I don't want to be the one to speculate on that. It'll just be very interesting to see how it pans out and how the market reacts to it. I think we'll see rates will stay low for some time. I don't know if we've bottomed out, but I don't foresee in 6 months from now talking about high threes or low fours again. I really don't. I think over time, maybe over the next 2 years, we might get back there. But from all the market research and analysts that I listen to, they're all predicting we're going to have low rates for at least 6, possibly for another 12 months. down in the low threes or sub threes, I should say. So that's positive. I'm kind of hoping we see more inventory come on the market because, like you said, the number of offers on each home is just insane. I saw one other realtor the other day post there was 50 offers on a home that was priced around 600, 700,000. 50
Oh,
offers on
I've had a
home.
couple, and if we would have allowed it to happen, we would have. I ended up just telling everyone, unless it is over this price, don't
Don't
even
bother.
bother. But if you just don't let everyone know and just let everyone see it and let everyone write offers, then yeah, the right property priced correctly is just going to have an insane amount of offers. And I mean, there's no doubt at some point the real estate market is going to change. More inventory at some point is going to come on the market. Even one of my clients today let me know that unfortunately they're not going to be able to buy a place now because they've just lost their job. I've got another client who sold, I helped them buy a house and sell a house. I got in contact with them just to follow up. And they were like, she's an air steward. She's like, my job is going to be gone in 2 weeks, I think. So there are still people who are heavily affected by this who are going to lose their jobs. And there's going to be people at some point, I think, especially in California, I still believe it, that people are going to look at it and go, I can't afford to live in California anymore. And they're going to leave the state. The politics, got so many people I talk to about the politics here and how people are against the politics. At the same time, we also live in one of the, if not the most beautiful place in the world. So when there's someone wanting to leave it, that also means there's an opportunity for someone to come and live here.
Yes.
So interest rates, everyone always keeps saying to me, I'm waiting for house prices to drop. And I keep saying to them, the thing is, if house prices drop, that normally correlates with interest rates rising. Historically, I don't think there's ever been a time when interest rates have been unbelievably low and house prices have been unbelievably low. I remember when my mother bought a house really cheap in the 80s. Interest rates were 14%. So if you want that really cheap house, you never know, in the future, you might be able to get it. But then interest rates might be through the roof. And if you're planning to spend, I don't know, 5, 10, rest of your life in a house, if you actually work out the math tomorrow, sit down and work out if the interest rate was 14% and the interest rate was 2.85, right? Mm-hmm. And you work that out over a 30-year period, how much have you got to get that house for less in order for it to be a difference? It's
insane.
I don't know if interest rates will ever reach 14% again.
No,
but then we didn't think they'd ever reach 2.75%.
It's true. I mean, in the spectrum, anything's possible, right? But we were talking about it as a branch here, and I don't have the exact numbers, but what you're saying is true. If someone's waiting for the house prices to come down and then rates rise 0.5%, they're actually going to be spending more monthly on that house. And then more of that money is going towards interest, not towards principal. If you look very simply at appreciation models, and anyone can research this for themselves, homes have continued to appreciate over time. Whether or not we have a dip or a crash in 2008, we're sitting at home values higher than the pre-crash right now. So even if you're thinking, I don't want to buy at the high end of the market, even if you do and you have the lowest possible interest rate, rates are never this low again, over the next 5, 10, 15 years, your home will be worth more according to historical data. I don't have a crystal ball to say that that's 100% going to be true, but if we look at facts and data and kind of predict based off of that, the curve, it literally does this. It just continues to go up. And so that's what I've told people. I had one client tell me, I'm waiting for house prices to come down. I don't care if rates go up. And it's like, respectfully, that's okay. I just want to show you a quick model here of what happens if house prices drop 50K and rates go up 0.5%. And he quickly changed his tune when we showed him the actual breakdown between the principal and interest payments. I
think the difference is if that person was like, I want to buy a place for a year or two, and I'm going to be moving in the next year or two, I would now say don't buy. Obviously, I only make money from if someone buys or sell a house. So it makes sense to me to come out on, tell everyone in the world, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Truth is I want to make sure that people make the right real estate investment for them. If someone is looking to buy a house tomorrow and they might have to move in the next year, I would tell them it costs a lot of money buying and selling homes here. I know that, you know that. So don't, because there is a possibility that house prices might drop. Right. Just like if you invest in the stock market, you've got to understand If you go and invest money in the stock market tomorrow, there is a big possibility if you need that money in the next year, your money might be worth less. So you are gambling, just like you are in the stock market, in house prices, etc. But historically, the stock market and house prices, as you mentioned, will go up. And the interest rate is so low right now. If you're planning on staying on the property for a few years, work out the math. We can obviously help you with that, work out the difference if it goes up and goes down. And for me, I think it's a good time to buy, but you just got to just make sure in your scenario. And that's where we can help out and work out some scenarios for you. I'm helping quite a few people try and find a house right now. And if they could find the actual right house, we would find them a property and they're happy buying. That I've been completely honest with them. And I've said from the beginning, what is your situation? How many years are you going to be in this property? So
that's an important question.
It's a no-brainer if you're in it for a few years or more.
Right. Yeah, it's a super important question. Like figuring out someone's goals on that purchase is what's paramount, because if they're looking to flip or hold it for like a year and we're predicting house prices could come down in a year, it's like maybe hold off. But if this is going to be your lifelong home, your retirement home, or at least for 5 to 10 years, get the money while it's cheap. I mean, how much cheaper can money get? 'Cause think about how much money a lender needs to make in their margins, or they're getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. There's not going to be, I just don't ever see it, rates at 1.5%. I just don't see it. So we're talking about 2.75. We're splitting hairs here of how much cheaper it could possibly get. I would lock in right now if you're looking to be in that same loan for 5 to 10 years.
I'm really interested to see what happens, because I was convinced the real estate, we had a chat a few months ago and I was like, Alex, there's no way house prices cannot drop later this year. I said, there's no way. This many people can't lose their jobs. And it was like, how can interest rates get any lower than what they are? Well, house prices have gone up and interest rates have got lower. So I was completely wrong on that front. And I keep telling everyone, at some point, there's no physical way in San Diego, we can still have 50 offers on a home way over asking price. Sometimes like 100, a 600K house might be going for 700K when nothing's been done on it and they only bought it a year ago. It's literally, how has something improved that much in this amount of time, when even 5 months ago, they would have struggled to get the 600K because of what the situation we were in. Right. So I'm really intrigued what's going to happen. If we all had a crystal ball, we'd all be multimillionaires. We absolutely have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen with an election. We have no idea what's going to happen after the election with whoever's in power. We have no idea if we're going to go in lockdown again. Well, even though we're always in a lockdown, but like a bigger lockdown again. We have no idea if we're actually going to get a vaccine. There's so many unknowns right now. It really is crazy. But the one thing we do know is we've got really low interest rates right now. And if you buy, you're going to have a really low payment.
Exactly. That is definitely true. And I agree with you. There's so many unknown factors. And until the dust settles on that, it's going to be very interesting to see how everything plays out. We talk about let's stay as busy as we can for as long as we can, because any one of those things could impact our market, overnight type thing. And all of a sudden, rates go up or whatever, business dries up or whatever. So one thing I would say is, if you're looking to refinance, anyone out there looking to refinance, get it done before November 13th. At the beginning of August, the FHFA, which is the governing body that controls Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they do all the conventional loans, or they securitize, insure them. They decided to place an adverse market fee of 50 basis points, which, to give you an idea, 50 basis points is referring to cost. So on a $200,000 loan, that's an extra $1,000 to get the exact same rate you could have got without the fee. On a $500,000 loan, that's an extra $2,500. So basically, overnight, the FHFA said, we're going to place this 50 basis points tax on all conventional refinance loans. So anyone that we were doing a $500,000 loan for, let's say I quoted them 2.875, on Thursday, it was now $2,500 to get that exact same rate. 100,000 different people, including loan officers and mortgage brokers, signed petitions, including myself, to our local senator and House of Representatives, made enough noise, it made its way to the White House. They've decided to delay that fee to November 13th. I think it's actually December 1st, but all the lenders are saying as of November 13th, that fee is now going to be in place again.
So basically everyone should refinance before that point.
Yeah. After that, doesn't mean you can't refinance, just means it's going to be more expensive. But if you're on the fence, should I wait to see if rates get lower? Well, we actually have a hard date now of we can see on November 12th versus November 13th to get the exact same interest rate you were quoted is now going to cost you half of a point or 50 basis points more. So anyone out there that's looking maybe on the fence about refinancing, whoever you're going to refinance with, if I'm lucky enough to own your business, just get it done before November 13th. Get locked in, not necessarily closed, but get locked in before that time.
Great. That's a great piece of advice. Thank you, Alex. Well, I'll catch up with you soon, no doubt. We're both extremely busy at the moment. Keep up the hard work. And if anyone has got any questions or any topics they want us to talk about, please do let us know. And we'd love to be able to help as many people as we can.
Yes. Thanks so much for having me on, James. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Take care. See you next month.
All right, then. Bye.